spoil her with some soul trends. Good girl, platinum hoe, she on my team. When I hang, you hear the echoes when bass scream. Living that pain life, it's alright. You feeling depressed and go outside. The weed and the season make these hard times. Worth every time you spend on no life. Coulda take a staycation to Santa Cruz. To a car I got drank. Bring the shoes, bring the speaker for the slap. Yeah, set the mood.
Good afternoon. Welcome and/or welcome back. I'm Mrs. Best. We are here to recap Basketball Wives Orlando Season 1, Episode 8, and we have James from the Watch Your Mouth Reviews channel. He's back. Yeah, you weren't on the last one. He's back. He is back. We're going to go over this episode, this messy little episode. The first thing that we see, I'm just going to jump into it because I have another live after this, you guys, is Neek, and she basically is holding Nikki accountable for her lives. Now, the women have been having beefs with each other because of a live that Nikki did talking about the situation with Danielle, Morgan, and Mulan. And Nikki went live giggling about that and talking shit, and it caused an issue, big issue. Morgan and Danny are no longer friends over it, and you know, there's been a little bit of a ripple effect. So Neek is like, you have to be accountable. Like, that was messy. And we find out it wasn't just them. Nikki was talking about her ex on her live, some other things. And she says she was drunk. And yeah, I guess if I'm usually when I'm under the influence, I try to avoid like cameras, social media, like all of that, you know?
I mean, she could have very much well be, but the thing about it is that even if you were, why would you put yourself in a predicament where that will come out your mouth?
Yeah.
It just what was going through your mind at the time you were drinking, where that was your first thought to say that out loud?
People like to blame alcohol for bad behavior, crazy statements, like what they say, drunken mind, sober thoughts. Like,
right, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like that's what was so confusing, because even if you were, why would that be the thought in your mind? Like, because if I drink and if I get to the point where I'm later drunk, ain't nothing in my mind.
I just want to dance.
Yeah, I just want to have fun and just party and
play a board game, giggle.
Okay. But these kids these days, I tell you, that drinking something else with these kids, because they just be all violent and thinking of the worst shit possible. So like, y'all take the fun out of that shit when y'all do that.
That's what I just posted on my social media. Alcohol hit this generation the way that crack did back in the 80s, okay? Because people acting like alcohol has not been around and like they don't know what to do or how to handle it. Like, go on now. You remember when I came to Arizona, there was a third party that got too drunk. Okay? And I had to deal with that shit on the airplane back to California. So we almost got kicked out of the airport because of that child. Like, the only reason they let us stay, they were like, you're responsible for, we won't let you fly because they were gonna let me fly and leave her. But I didn't leave my friend. Lord. But yes, alcohol can be too much for people. James is like, why would she say that? I don't care. Everybody else. I'm just saying, alcohol, not everybody can handle it like they supposed to. But she does speak on 4. And that is her little penis ex-boyfriend. And I say that because I saw it. It was on the internet. Somebody sent it to me. I think it was Leona. Damn you, Leona. But I did see 4's situation. And the reason it was going around the internet is because at the time, he was a big star of Black Ink Crew and all of that. And that is Nikki's ex. That is where we met him, as she showed us. Our production showed us through the clips, because that is a VH1 show as well. So we don't get much from that, but you could tell they're setting it up for the episode, which we are going to see 4 in this episode. And you could tell from the beginning. So we then see Megan, and she's doing promo for her podcast. I'm not going to comment too much on it. I guess the podcast is about sex. And so she wore a little outfit and took a picture. She says she wants to be the next Wendy Williams, and she's definitely messy enough to do it. So I will give her that. But that's Megan.
I actually disagree.
You don't think she can get there?
No, she does not have a personality of rambunctious messiness the way Wendy Williams did. I honestly, to me, she gives more Angela Yee than she
Nobody
does.
likes Angela Yee, James.
Well, I'm just saying that's what she gives me, like her poise and her personality. Yes, she'll get to the mess and dirt, but so will Angela Yee. Wendy Williams does it in a way to where it is so like gutter, like messy, but it paid off in the end. Megan does not give me that. So that's why I said when she said that, I was like, I wish you the best, my love, and I hope for your sake you win and achieve all that you can.
I heard the hell out of that.
Wendy Williams is a very far comparison. I would have said Angela Yee if it was me.
Well, moving along, we did see Mulan and Ashley meet up. Mulan speaks about her BBL and wanting to get a reduction, which I think is necessary. Y'all have seen me call and refer to her as having a diaper booty, as well as some of the people on this cast.
Yeah, I said she looked like she injected Fix-A-Flat back then. You know, Fix-A-Flat, you know, the objective is when you put it in your tire is that it gets hard and it stiffens, but it still is a liquid at the end of the day. That's what looks like it's in her ass. That is just terrible.
I'm so done.
It looks heavy. It looked heavy. It looked like she got to lift 5 pounds when she walked each day.
She said it's starting to get heavy. We found out Ashley had one when she was younger and she reversed that, process. But I'm just glad to know she knows that she has a diaper booty and that, not only does it feel bad, it looks bad. It is what it is. Nothing's wrong with BBLs. It's just the extent of which you decide.
Well, here's the thing. No, nothing is wrong with it. But some of you women, especially in our generation of time, go overboard with it and is too quick to get one versus letting old age just happen. Because I'm telling you, you're going to gain weight when you get older. Your metabolism slow down and fats in your upper body and your trans tends to suck down and goes right in areas. Just eat cornbread and collard greens. I promise you, it will be all right.
I am proof of that. He knows from high school.
Yes.
Thinnest girl ever, super athletic, still like to move around and stuff, but now I've got weight here and there and back there. Everyone's like, oh, you're African. That was going to come. Listen, I'm trying to get rid of it. But anywho, because the shit is heavy and it's natural. So if it's naturally heavy, what the hell does it feel like when you inject or put something in it?
Yeah. I mean, fix it in your booty. Yeah, I wonder what it does feel like.
Stop calling it Fix-A-Flat.
That's what that shit is. I'm telling you. So, anyways.
So moving it along, we're gonna find out that she's gonna look into doing something about her diaper booty. Thank you, Jesus. And then we see Ashley, and she's the only one with a husband that's actually available on the show, but he is a free agent right now, so that means he has a little bit more time than the traditional NBA player. And he is prepping to announce that he is publicly that he is autistic. I guess no one has done that in the league yet. I don't know how to say this respectfully. I am surprised that it took his child getting diagnosed for him to know to do something.
As I said, a lot of I'm happy that he's doing it. So I'm not trying to speak negative on autism and everything like that. But the problem that I have with people who I think we're just trying to cope with the fact that when you talk slow and things, that's really a taught behavior. And and it's not so much that you're autistic, it's just that don't open your horizons to be surrounding yourself in different areas, or you don't go to speech therapy as a kid. It is a form of autism. I totally get that. But I feel like there are ways to correct it as kids. And even as adult, I still take speech therapy to this day because I have a bit of a incompetence in my speech. It may not look like it, and based on how I speak, it may not seem like it. That's because I've had years and years and years of speech therapy. I think I'm on year 14 of speech therapy. I've had it since I was 19 years old. So, and it's because I had a therapist tell me I needed to do it. So it's a matter of taking strides as an adult and really understanding the way you speak, your pattern, your mannerisms. It's all something that you really can't correct. So I just felt like when I was watching him and when I was seeing that, it just seems that it's someone in your corner not telling you that there's strides that you could have done that could improve some of the things that you were talking about in that speech. That's all I'm gonna say.
That's exactly what I felt watching him. When I first saw him, I have people in my family, multiple people who are on the spectrum of autism. and they behave and speak just like Tony. That's why there are symptoms within the DSM-5 for people to diagnose it, to follow. So it's just odd that no one caught it. But I think it's great that he's coming out publicly, because with autism, creativity, sports, things of that nature are some of the best things that can help people through. And that could be why he was able to get through life without much difficulty, even having and suffering from that. So good for him. The next thing we see is Nikki, Morgan, and Danielle, and they go on a speed dating. And this was odd, but nothing really happened on the speed dating thing. I think they all need some, for one, especially Morgan and Danielle. They just seem like they still missing the D that they left. And I think sometimes if you got to get some to get over the next, fine, because I'm tired of them going off and having fights and stuff over men that they're not with anymore. And I stand by that. So they do the speed dating, and the only interesting things that happen is Morgan goes to wipe the sweat off the head of a male, and her whole titty came out. So there was that. And at the end of the speed dating, they said, so ladies, we want you to go to the man that, you like. And the man that Morgan and Nikki liked, in my opinion, was the worst choice from when we watched back the day. He ran the same game with all the women. To me, that's like a red flag. He's just whoever's going to hook onto that damn line, he would have been all right with. In my opinion, and my friend who is a male is looking at me like, very good friend.
Right. I'm glad you caught that, because I was like, and to me, for Morgan, that was very telling.
Yes,
Nikki, I wasn't surprised. Nikki, I was not surprised whatsoever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Morgan, especially how she handled her date. I get a feeling that her relationship, her marriage, sex might have been a big part of that foundation, and maybe there wasn't much else that she was able to.
Well, not much else, but it made the cheating and the disrespect more heightened because you didn't pay attention to those things in the courting. So that's why I felt like, that was very telling of her. So now it makes me question whether or not because see, a lot of you women do not do, and y'all need to start doing this, is making it clear of your boundaries when it comes to, yes, we can have sex. Yes, we can, have this very obnoxious relationship because of how heightened the celebrity status of being a basketball player is. However, you need to know that it's me and only me. Cheating is not acceptable. Misbehavior is not acceptable. No, you cannot entertain no conversation with no other woman without me being present. No, you cannot entertain being out of town and I'm not seeing where you at. No, that cannot happen. But see, y'all women think that because if the sex is good, then that's just going to and that was her mindset, because if that's good. Right, Mackenzie too, and don't even get me started on, because
I know. No, what he's saying is real though. What he's saying is absolutely real. There's, like, for instance, I had surgery a couple of years ago, right before the pandemic, and there were months that I was not cleared to do anything sexually, which was awful. But my husband was cool. I was cool. And I think the reason we were is because there's more to us than just that. Got to be able to conversate, laugh, kick it. It can't just be.
I had there was a marriage counselor that I had seen years ago, and I asked him, what are some of the questions, because he was doing regular therapy on the side. It was one of those situations where he got clearance to do both. So I asked him, what kind of questions do you ask married people, like when they come see you from premarital counseling? He told me, he said, the first question I asked, that if she has to have a medical procedure, or if something goes wrong with her downstairs where you are not able to have sex ever again. He never said, like, in general, of like, until she recovers, ever again, would you still marry this person?
That's a good question, because yes,
because as much as that is important, there are other components of marriage that are important too, and sometimes that blurs all the rest of them.
Yep.
So, which is why a lot of people, even though the biblical way, which was some bullshit anyway, but when because that is, and y'all not, and I'm not going to argue with y'all about that. But the biblical way, I think that's why I respect a lot of people who wait until after they get married to do it, because you need to figure out the rest of your shit first. And sometimes sex blurs all of that. It just does, especially when they're good. So yes.
Yeah, I agree. There's some exes that probably hate me because they never got some, but prior to Mr. Best, I was not just handing it out, darling. And that's why, as my friends used to say, Nita was playing for the Himalayas, because I won't give you no play. I'll have you do the most, and I'll find out if we got a connection, and if we don't, to the next.
Absolutely. Test them out. Test them to see if that really can happen. If you
absolutely.
Really
I feel like then I got with my husband, and there was something there. So we did end up, like the first time meeting, doing some things. But I think that it clouded some of the choices we made, like getting married so early. And not that we wouldn't have still gotten married, but like I was 19. So we probably could have waited a little while longer. But I think sex is the reason we were like, let's just do it. So I fully support what James is saying. Anywho, moving it along, on to the next thing we see is Mehgan prepping for her podcast. And the special guest we find out is going to be Four, who is the ex of Nikki from Black Ink Crew. And then we find out all this kinky shit. We had to see the man in some sort of a mask, and he was on all fours in a dog cage. He's into BDSM. Listen, I ain't gonna be explaining that shit for anybody ever. But if you want to know, go on and look it up. And that's what I'll say. And you might want to look it up in a private browser, just in case. Just a suggestion. I mean, shit. So we find out that she's gonna have Four. Basically, she has no remorse. She doesn't care that Nikki could be upset. She doesn't care. She's not impacted whatsoever. So I'm just like, okay. And I guess Mulan is going to be coming, and we know that Mulan and Mehgan and basically Mulan and everybody's not cool right now. So the next thing we see is Mulan at the doctor, and Mulan says that she feels heavy from her butt weighing down on her, and the surgeon says to her what we all kind of knew from watching stars like K. Michelle and various others who have gone to have their butt implants or shots, their work on their butt reversed. And it's dangerous to do. And I think K. Michelle is one of the best recent examples of that. She almost died having her procedure. Because there's, like he said, when they inject that stuff into you, there's different levels of tissue that you have back there. All right. Now I have a little bit of nursing studies, but I am not a fucking nurse. All I have is a little medical assistant degree. I remember learning about the different types of tissues, subcutaneous tissues, all that shit. So there's tissues that are back there. That's usually where any injection goes, because they don't want it to just go into your bloodstream. That could be dangerous. Once it's in there, though, they don't fully have control. It's not just going to, especially with you sitting and standing and moving things around, it's not always going to just be easy to come on out. And we find out that Mulan had a BBL in addition to the hydrogel shots, which are extremely controversial, and I don't believe they're even legal in the US. I don't believe.
Didn't she had hers done in the Dominican Republic?
I don't know where she had it.
I feel like she said she got it done somewhere.
Huh. Well,
I have to remember that conversation.
Well, I'm not quite sure what the hell is going on with it, but she had something on her that was not, she shouldn't have had it. It was legal. It wasn't legal. So basically, she can't just, like I said, I'm sorry, I'm late. You're not late,
baby. You're not late at all. We just getting started.
This isn't going to be the longest live. We'll get to Beverly Hills right after too, because I'm seeing that not much really happened till the end. James was right. He said this will be a fast live, and he's right. But Mulan wants to get all of that shit taken out of her. And to do so, they can't just suck it back out. They have to, because it becomes a part of her skin and all of that, they would have to cut like chunks of her actual, gluteus out. And the butt is a muscle itself, so it's not going to be the prettiest thing for healing. She would look deformed. Um, oh, it's unfortunate because this is weighing
Yes, and
her
that's what I
down.
said. Moral of the story is, and y'all ladies,
Love your
especially y'all
natural
young
body.
ladies, love your natural body. Because I promise you, once you hit 30, I promise you, you about to gain all type of weight. And don't have no baby. Either don't have
Ooh,
no baby in it, because I'm telling you, that's gonna make it worse. Because we have to understand, having a baby, you're giving all your genetic like microorganisms to your baby. So naturally, all of the things that made your metabolism and everything, it goes slow for 9 months, and it does not pick back up, and it takes years for it to regain itself back. So y'all do yourselves a favor and just wait that life hit its course, because it is going to hit your course. That's what's wrong with y'all getting these BBLs at 22 and 23. Life gonna happen, and you finna end up like Mulan over there. Like you can end up like her, and it's so sad because she's a beautiful young lady. She really is. But when you do that shit and you put fix a flat and all kind of shit in your ass, this is what happens. So young ladies look at this and say, "Nope,
yeah.
nope."
I
Listen to
mean,
Watch Your Mouth
regardless of how
reviews,
you feel, you can get your ass done all you want and think that it's going to
right?
attract you a man. A man to be so quick to bend you over and
When I
ignore your
tell
face and the
y'all,
rest of you.
a man will fuck a log if it had legs. I don't understand why y'all women do that shit. Like, I promise you, men do not care about this. Yeah, they joke around, so, oh, look at her ass, oh, look at
That's
them titties,
why
oh, look at
there's
all.
so many
But at
rap
the end of the
songs
day,
of them
they
talking
will, what,
shit.
when I tell you at the end of the day, a man will still get with Twiggy and act as if she got all kind of ass in the world and ain't got shit. They will still do it. They will still do it. I'm sorry, men
Go
do
watch
not
the
think
show
like
Nip Tuck. It's an older show, but I felt like they did a really good job of explaining how men think when it comes to that.
right. And y'all already know how I think life is with men anyway. That's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother day. And
Lord.
y'all women finna be mad as hell at me, but I don't give a fuck because I know how this world works. And y'all, it is what it is.
All I'm saying is, moral of the story, we both gonna agree there. Love your body. It's okay if you are flat chested. It's okay if you have no ass. It is okay. There's
Thank
nothing.
God you don't. That's all I'm saying. Thank God, because
Listen,
you end up like Shekinah over there on Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. She couldn't even wipe her ass after she got hers. That's a damn shame.
listen. Love your body. You don't need to keep up with trends. It's not worth it. Put that money you put into your ass into buying a house or something. I guarantee you'll get a lot more out of it. Moving along, we see that y'all go on a date with a sports agent who's from Cleveland. She did a lot of talking on this date, but I guess the guy is looking for something serious. He's ready to date. My thing is, if this guy's been interested in you for a few months, Danielle, then like, why are you just now talking to him? So clearly she wasn't done with Rashad, but now she's done. And I'm actually happy to see her attempting to date seriously. I'm thinking she might have realized laying in bed at night, damn, I'm on camera arguing with a bitch I don't know and I ain't got a problem with over a nigga I'm not with. Like maybe that finally hit Danielle, but or she's trying to make him jealous. I don't know. I'm just glad that she's
That part, that part, that part.
James
That
is
part,
proud by it.
because I don't bit more believe this than any. Come on, this is Danielle. We talking about Danielle fought tooth and
I'm trying
nail.
to get a girl some grace. I'm
I'm not
trying.
giving her some grace means that she leaves the show, actually get somebody, and not be worried about this man no more, and not be worried about. That means that she can look Mackenzie in the face and go, "Mhm, I hope you enjoy. I hope everything happens, and you guys make a great couple." And actually mean it. Because that's when you are over somebody, when you have to be in business with the person they're with and it not phase you not one bit.
Oh no, she's
That's a,
bothered.
she is battling. When I tell you, she is
Bothered.
pressed like a panini that got ham in between them. I promise you, she is pressed over that girl being with that man. I, I need to see. I need to see what it is. Somebody got his print. I need to see because there's no
I
way.
cannot with you, James. I'm cracking up at him today. So we see Megan's little live podcast. This is her first time doing a live show for her podcast. And every woman finds out who the special guest is and feels like it's messy. If you're supposed to be someone's friend, I'm not going to invite they ex to nothing. But on the other end, I understand that it's a business thing. And it sounds like from the conversation we saw her have with Ford, like they've had this plan. However, you tell your friend. You don't have to tell any of them other bitches, but you tell Nikki, who hasn't done nothing to you. So she doesn't tell Nikki, and Nikki finds out when there. Morgan talking about she finally gonna behave in an event, and it looks like she did, which is the first time the whole season that Morgan has gone somewhere and behaved. So good for you, Morgan. Please keep it up. The podcast grossed everybody out. I'm kind of, I guess you could say, a little bit of a freak. I just keep it between me and my husband. But I think the real freaks don't want to talk about sex so openly like that. That was just a lot. That was a lot. And I stand by this. I don't eat ass. And I hope that whoever watches me doesn't either. If you do, I don't judge. Just we'll never share a drink together. But I didn't need half of what I got from this BDSM thing. And it did feel like at some point, like Ford was trying to say shit to make Nikki uncomfortable. And I felt like it was embarrassing to invite her there. And he's saying these things that he's into. And it's obvious she was with him and may have helped him achieve pleasure. James knows I'm so uncomfortable.
She's struggling trying to get through this, y'all. I promise you.
I didn't like it.
And I agree with her. It was way more graphic than it needed to be because I thought, well, hell, Megan, is this an after dark podcast or something? Like
she said it's a sex podcast. She did clarify that. But
okay, so yeah.
You could have talked about something. There's more to sex than BDSM. Especially in my sex life.
So when I was listening, it was just like, okay, it seemed like everything to pleasure you versus what does she get out of this situation?
Boom. That's what I was gonna say too. So on top of him having a little wee and liking to be locked up in cages and masked and shit and whipped, okay. On top of that, he don't know how to please a woman worth a damn. He don't. Because when she left,
but
she
see,
did
but
not come back.
That stems back from like back when Miss Seeley got married to Mister. It was never about women. It was never about women getting something out of it. It was always about men and doing their business on women. That's what it was like. Just like I said, marriage was unconventional back then. You married somebody because they traded your daddy, you for a cow or some shit to your daddy. That's usually what that shit was back then. And we are still carrying that mindset. And what women have to start understanding is you have to train men to pleasure you more than they get the pleasure themselves. And a real man is going to take it a challenge.
Always talk to your spouse about what you need.
What you exactly.
If you don't say it, you're never gonna fucking
get it. Yep. You have to really be very clear and very specific about the things that you like you have to be, and it may be the stupidest shit ever, but if they love you enough, they gonna let you do it because of what it does to you. I would tell you a couple of mine, but that ain't none of y'all business. But the problem, I had with this is that when I was listening to this and the way she was just so passive about it, I was like, well, so damn, what did you get out of this situation? Like, what was your pleasure? Like, what was, because all I heard was what he liked.
All I know is the podcast grossed everyone out. And that's pretty much where the episode ends. That's the first time the cast agreed on something, and they agreed that this was nasty. It was
nasty. But I don't care if you do an enema, that shit is still nasty.
Listen, I'm happy that Ford feels sexually liberated. It's what killed me was the question. So have other men, well, Megan trying to be professional, have other men, hate web saying they feel inspired because this is taboo in the Black community. No, listen, this is not just taboo in the Black community.
I was just going to say that.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
No, it's not.
When you are able to have your own porn category based on what you do in the bedroom, that's taboo for more than just one.
Right, exactly.
Listen, I ain't had not done one nigga ask me to penetrate him or whatever and such, or whip him or choke him or nothing. I haven't had that. So, anywho, I'm going to end live.
Yes, there we go.
Because this is just an awkward place to end, but that's all we see. And we see next week that more will happen with that. But personal opinions on if she should have warned Nikki that Ford was a guest, I agree that she should have, because they're supposed to be friends. You know, Megan wanted to show the bitches like, oh, I'm messy and I get paid. You know, but you only needed to make that point to some of them. You didn't need to throw Nikki under the bus to do that. So I did feel for Nikki, and you know, I hope your next man gives you all you want in that round. So for those who are new to my channel, we do recaps of Basketball Wives every single week. It's usually on Wednesday. This week we're on Thursday. I was not feeling good yesterday. There's a leak with Chevron or something in the Bay Area. I had an allergy attack. But things are a little better. So we are going to go over the Housewives of Beverly Hills after this live. That was the episode. Anybody who has opinions, even when we're not live, if you're watching the live replay, leave a comment. I always respond to the comments on my handy dandy iPhone. So, you know, we look forward and appreciate everyone. Like, comment, and subscribe. We're going to head over to my channel again, because now we're going to recap the Housewives of Beverly Hills. So I thank everyone for watching, and thank James for being here. We're going to get into another show. Thank you, Jesus.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Adios.